members from the Inetnon Get Pago Cultural Arts Program celebrating 20 years.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
In the Zoom room, we have Vince Regis. He is the director and founder. Judy Flores, the Saina of Inetnon Get Pago, and she's also the former president of the Get Pago Cultural Village. We also have Jonathan Camacho. He was a dancer, I believe, with the group, and Stacy Coletta, who is a board member. Welcome to the link. Good morning.
Oh, and we got a late ad. Dylan Duenas is joining us
Oh,
right now.
Dylan.
He's
Okay,
coming in.
so Dylan is with us. He's a
There he
current
is.
dancer, and he's also a musician. And he just graduated from Southern High School's Inetnon Get Pago chapter. So again, welcome Dylan to the program. And Vince, we'll just start with you. Just congratulations. 20 years is a long time.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so grateful to be on this journey, and so blessed with the tremendous support that has come our way throughout the years. I can't believe it's been 20 years, but man, what a journey! What an amazing journey! So thank you for highlighting us, and thank you for allowing us to share our stories.
Right.
It's been a great relationship as well with KOAM. So send Dunklunas is Osmasi.
And 20 years, you talk about the journey. It's a journey that really has taken sure what that is, Inetnon Get Pago all over the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. It has. It's taken us. I never knew that it would ever take us to these places, and I know that when I first started, I just had a desire to perpetuate our culture, but a desire to evolve our culture, and through Chamorro and through performance arts, I was able to do that, and just really grateful for the amount of places that we've been able to share our culture, but more importantly, being able to have the people that go on these trips and go and come back to the island. I think that's just for me the amazing, the wonderful moments is when you see that these young adults or young perpetuators have a different perspective, or a more broader perspective of where they are in the world, and how they see themselves. I always use the analogy of that Malolu, the boy from Malolu playing basketball at the Malolu court, then goes to Brazil, comes back to that same court and plays the same basketball, and then shares his stories. Can you imagine what kind of impact that and empowerment statements that those things make on our people that we actually don't even see? So I'm just so amazed and grateful for this journey. I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing. It wasn't part of my life trajectory when I was in high school, but God has this amazing journey for you, and sometimes we just have to surrender that and let things be, and just take the first step. So man, what a blessing. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Hey, Senor Regis, good morning. We did a podcast last year, and we talked about the history of Inetnon Get Pago and how it came about. So let's kind of go back there a little bit and talk about the need that you saw, and I guess the gaps that you wanted to fill in the cultural dance on island, and then how it grew to what it is now.
Yeah, well, as I get older, I forget sometimes why I do what I do. So we all get that when we go to the refrigerator, we look in the refrigerator, and that's exactly where we're not supposed to go. I think when I first started teaching, I had this deep and abiding concern of where our culture was going to go. I knew that my generation, there was this void. We all know this story. There was the lack of language that we don't be able to speak. I was so confused, and many of my peers were really confused, and I was worried more so about our youth. Like, what do they have? What are the tools that they need? And at the time, there was only a few outlets. I think there was like Chamorro Language Commission just started. There was a few, of course, Chamorro music was still played on mainstream music. And thanks to KOAM for, bringing the music back, Chamorro music back. But when so when I started to teach, I really felt that performance arts was the way in which we can continue to keep our stories relevant and our culture relevant for these young folks. if you ever attend any of my practices, I really try to engage these, many of them involved in the creative process. So the ultimate, of course, at the end of the performance or the routine, of course, I give my stamp of approval. But the concepts, the motions, the movements, all of that is very cooperative and collaborative with many of the dancers, because I can say what Chamorro culture is or what I feel that they should do. But at the end of the day, they're the carriers of it. They're going to be they are the next generation. And so we need to be able to give them as much tools as they can so that they can continue to move forward, especially in the middle of social media when they're bombarded with many different types of influences. That's why I like to take them off island, because I like to call it the I force the identity crisis. You know, everything is honky-dory here on the island, right? And then when they leave, and then they get forced with questions like, why do you only speak English? Or force the questions, are you Filipino, or are you another culture, or whatever it is. It makes them intrinsically value who they are a little bit more. So when they come back, they have a broader awareness, and hopefully they make decisions towards what they feel is the next step for them in their identity, in learning more about their identity.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know if I answered your question.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's a nice stream of thought there. And 20 years of doing this, and you can't do it alone. So let's talk to some of the other members here. That Stacy, you're on the board. So what exactly is your role in what Inetnon Get Pago does around the world?
Well, good morning, first of all. I am actually on Zoom with you from Kauai this morning. I'm not on the island of Guam anymore, but I'm a relatively new member on the board for Inetnon Get Pago. We oversee the business aspect, if you will, on that side of the fence in terms of its existence. But that's the school bell at the school.
What is that?
Don't you think it's cool?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I have focused on with Vince as a board member and somebody who believes in his process and the way that he's been handling IG for as long as I've known him is I focus more on the educational component with him. He has, of course, gone through 20 years of a very, very rich experience. I wish I've been to all the places that Vince has been to with the kids. Unfortunately, I've only been to Korea. That was supposed to be the start, and then all kinds of things happened. And then I couldn't really get off the ground and get with him anywhere else. We did schedule a big trip with him to have him perform for the Chief State School Officers, the CCSSO, with the Superintendent of Education. And then Corona came and changed those plans. But nonetheless, I wanted to forge a new relationship. He's done 20 years, and now 20 years moving forward, my goal on the board was to open up educational opportunities for IG and not only look at it as a standalone cultural performing group, but how can we infuse it into the schools so that we can grow it up within the curriculum and expand our reach in terms of utilizing educational components to, cultivate culture, language, and performing arts.
What about you, Judy? You've been, you're the signer of Inetnon Get Pago. What are the, Vince is talking about stories. And so what are the stories that you share about IG?
Oh, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's nice to see Vince, of course, and to meet Stacy, because I started, I was on some of the early boards with Vince, but now moving to Sina is great. I like it.
Yes, for sure you are deserving.
Yeah, and seeing,
more than deserving.
Seeing him grow and seeing the students grow through the years. And we started when I was director of Get Pago in Alahan, and that's how he got his name, because that's where he was when they started. So he approached us first. He wanted his students to come down from the school up on the hill regularly and learn from our Sina. And it turned out to be a wonderful partnership. And Vince knows the part about slipping and sliding, going up and down the hill and all that stuff. It actually walked. But in those days they allowed them to do that. Isn't that great?
Yeah,
But anyway,
and I would walk. We would walk each period. So we would go from Inetnon Middle School down to Get Pago Cultural Village and back up and down and back up and down and back up. I asked myself now, I'm like, no, I will not do that. I will get a bus. We'll figure out a way to get it. I think for me, I'll get a bus for myself.
That's a good workout, man. Vince, I gotta ask you, did you at least stop at Papa Nidzuk and get a drink?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We had to stop by Papa Nidzuk.
You have to, man.
Yeah. That was one of the things, around middle school, we don't have the joys of like the malls and stuff. So the bribe was, let's go down to Get Pago, learn how to make coconut candy, and let's learn from the masters. And then you can stop by Papa Nidzuk and get yourself a drink on your way up. It worked.
And from my end, I saw some little incidents that I thought were really cool. I had a parent standing by one day when the kids were in their lessons at Get Pago, and she says, "Yeah, I'm waiting for my daughter to finish grating the coconut so I can go home and take the coconut and cook lunch." It was the time when who grated coconut anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and here these kids were providing for their families. I thought it was really great.
So Judy and Vince, at that point when it's just kids walking down from school, enjoying, learning a little bit, did you think it would grow into this international award-winning group that performs in front of cultural groups around the world?
I had no idea what Vince had in his mind. Every time he came up with something, and the kids will tell you that, oh, this crazy idea again. What are we gonna do? I heard this on the last webinar, and I loved that.
So is that true?
I think
He was always a new thing.
Was that true, John?
Yeah.
Dylan? Vince really
What's
crazy
that?
or what? No, it said John and Dylan. So is it true? Vince is really crazy?
Yeah, we were going to have a different Zoom meeting about John and Dylan so they can get the real scoop on Vince.
Wouldn't say he's crazy, but I would say he's one of those who was willing to take the next step. And some people, it takes a lot to take that next step. So there's
Call it
definitely some sort of
passionate.
crazy there.
Yeah. And like they say, there's method to the madness.
So you two, John and Dylan, as performers, the first step is recognizing that you do have this passion for the culture and you want to get involved and you want to learn. So what was that moment for you guys and how you got into this? John?
If you want to go first, it doesn't matter.
Well, for me it was.
Okay, John, you're first. Go.
Yeah, John, go.
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah, when I was at IMS, and they were performing for. I forgot, but I saw the first performance and I was like, man, that looks cool, and it was different because I'm used to seeing like hula, Hawaiian dances. And then when I saw that, I was like, man, I want to do that. I'm Chamorro and I want to tell people about our culture. And so I waited until the very next year, 7th grade, and I was like, I want this class. They tried to give me keyboarding. I was like, I'm not gonna do keyboarding. I want to go and be active. I want to dance because I play sports and I'm used to being active. So yeah, I took that as a challenge and it was worth it.
And how long have you been involved with the group, John?
Since 7th grade, and I've been, whenever they need help, I'm there. Like when they took their Korea trip, I performed. We took home 3rd place.
So quite a journey. And Dylan, we've had you on the show a bunch of times before performing. So talk about how you got involved and what made you want to be a part of Inetnon Get Pago.
For me, it was I kind of had a late start because I started my freshman year in the high school program. I was dancing for a few other groups, but I started in freshman year when I was introduced to it by a friend. I went to one of the performances at Sheraton and Outrigger, and then from there it's just like, wow, I've never seen Chamorro dance like this. You know, it was so broad, it was open, it was free, like, and that's one thing you don't normally see when it comes to like cultural practitioner on Guam is no one's really free to do whatever they want. But I guess.
Oh, it's frozen. Is everybody frozen? So yeah, we're having some technical difficulties, but we are talking with members of Inetnon Get Pago, celebrating their 20-year anniversary. We have in the Zoom room Vince Regis, Stacy Coletta, who is a board member, Jonathan and Dylan. They are dancers. Jonathan, I think, is a former dancer. And then Judy Flores, many of you may know her from Get Pago, right? So she has been with the organization for years, and she was just talking about how
that's crazy to hear. You know, I've had Vince on the show a lot of times, and it's just crazy. We sit down and even before we jump on an interview, we just talk a lot about the culture, and I always praise him. I was like, hey, you know, I love what you're doing. You know, especially bringing the culture, especially to our kids, because you know they're the ones who get to continue this journey. You know, when we're gone, they're the ones who are left with this legacy to continue. So what you're doing, and you're doing it in a way that they love interaction, they love dance. You know, nowadays we see TikTok all over the place. You know, people dance a lot. So you know,
that's what they need. And then Get Pago needs a TikTok.
I know. So you know, it's crazy how it's been 20 years of this, and it's gonna, and you know, I wish them another 20 or 30 or 40.
Right. And I think we're back. We're connected again. And Dylan, you were talking about. And we have another guest.
We know we're back. That's the confirmation. We know we're back.
We just need a rooster in there somewhere.
Somebody cue the rooster.
Right. And Dylan, if you could just continue to share your story and your journey with Inetnon Get Pago.
All right, so a year or two passes by as I'm in the group, and I started as a dancer originally, and I never thought I would ever become a musician and a dancer or anything else like that. I always just kept it to dancing, and then I don't know, out of nowhere, I just decided I wanted to try and become a musician. I started drumming, dancing, playing the uke a little bit. Of course, I had to practice and work on my skills a little bit, but I was glad to have had the freedom to express myself in more than just one way. So that's something that really pushed me into, or kept me there at IG or Inetnon Get Pago, was the fact that I can do more than just dance and more than just singing.
So 20 years, celebrating 20 years. What's next for Inetnon Get Pago, Vince?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, to answer the question and the ongoing debate if I'm crazy, I will be the first to admit that I am a self-proclaimed crazy and extra person.
Extra.
So everything is extra. Everything is crazy. We have a joke with my family that there's a chemical imbalance with us, and we're a loving family, but there is a chemical imbalance, and I think I take it to the extreme. But I find a way to creatively put that to use, right?
Exactly. Crazy for your culture.
Crazy for our culture, absolutely. Hey, that's a hashtag. Maybe that'll be our hashtag.
Hey, let's get that trending.
Yeah, so, you know, I always say that Inetnon Get Pago always is developed and continues to grow based on who's interested to being a part of this journey. And so I always tell the kids, you make Inetnon Get Pago. I tell the parents, you make Inetnon Get Pago. And I also tell the community, you make Inetnon Get Pago. So long as all of us continue to believe in this, we may not agree on the same creative path, but as long as we know that we're all genuinely on the same path, then we'll continue to grow. I mean, what's next? Who knows? Who knows me and my craziness, right? So who knows what's going to be next? We have other things on the works. Maybe, our small steps is we have what we call the Minagov Minute, which we're so grateful. What we're trying to do is do like 1 minute takes of our culture this is produced and developed by the members of the group. There's an 8-part series to it, which is really cool, which is just, again, interviewing and having fun, but also keeping culture relevant in these times, right? How do we keep cultural education relevant? How do we keep cultural perpetuation relevant? And without a performance, right? Without a live audience. I'm hoping for new music. That's definitely something that we'd like to continue. I know Victor and Andy and I'm so excited and I'm so grateful whenever we put out music, they're right on it, right? It's the premiere. And so hopefully we'll hear more of those stories come out from our kids. And I think for me, it's really evolving and moving with the times. As we see our culture evolve, we must as well evolve to be able to share and express those cultures. So I'm excited for the next 20 years. I don't know if I will still have the same energy, but I know I'll still have the same passion. So thank you guys so much for this.
That's where John comes in, John and Dylan, to take over.
Absolutely. They need to hurry up.
There it is. There's the crazy. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming on. Congratulations again on 2 decades.
Viva Inetnon Get Pago!
Viva! All right, thank you. That's amazing.
20 years.
I interviewed Vince so many years ago at Southern High School when we were. He was actually an honoree for KUAM honors.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that was my first.
Care Force.
Yeah, it was my first interview, I think, with Vince, and I was amazed.
Well, and I remember when we did. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Vince. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Let's give you some more flowers before we let you speak. But I have a story about Vince because I remember when Inetnon just started as a program, and that's the thing I appreciate because Vince has a background in education, and he's working with people like Stacy and Auntie Judy, and it's one thing to form like a band, and you could say you have the same 4 people in the group, right? We got Andy on drums, we got Sabrina on guitar, we got Vic playing the triangle, and I'm like lead singer, right? But if you're forming a program, right, and a framework that you will teach to a current group of young people, and then pass that on to another group and another group and a cohort, and it becomes a generational thing and everything. That's a lot harder to do because you have to keep repeating that and tweak it and evolve it and everything like that. So I mean, I remember a few years ago when you and I, Bree, we did a Facebook live stream down at the Molesto Crab Festival. And then when Mayor Ernest Chargaloff announced it, he goes, okay, well, we're going to have the crab hunt, and, there's some, we got some cinnamon sticks over there, and everybody can go get cold drinks. But Inetnon Get Pago is coming up. The place went nuts. You would have thought the Beatles were coming out. They're so beloved, by people, and they couldn't wait. And, when they came out, everybody showed them, they gave them this wonderful ovation. They showed them respect when they came out, and everyone genuinely appreciates, what they're doing for dance, for art, for language, for manner of dress, and for passing on the virtues of our people and everything like that. So I mean, Vince, I've known you forever and everything. I just have infinite respect for what you're doing for our culture, man. So, Jesus Masi, Vince.
Jesus Masi, Salu.
Okay. We can see you blushing just a tad bit in the Zoom here, so that's totally cool.
All right.
Yes, thank you. It's always not you. All of you guys, I'm so grateful to share this journey with you guys, and every single one of you, from John to Andy. I mean, we go back. Bree, we go back. I remember. I think it was the Toucher class the teacher touch-up class. I think it was like 2000, early 2000s, and when we first started kind of building, forming our relationship with KOAM, and since then, you guys have been amazing supporters. And Saina, Auntie Judy, you know, you have been the rock for so. You know, you guys don't know that she's been like, whenever I need to muta all my problems, I go to her. and she makes sense of the craziness. So I think the person to ask about my craziness is her.
Okay, sorry. One last story before we move on and everything like that. Okay, so specifically for our youngsters, right? So John and Dylan, it's probably not on YouTube, but if you guys can, Google and look up Vince Regis, class of 1991, Inarahan High School volleyball team, and then Vince Regis with the Inarahan Hawks. Vince was a demon when it came to volleyball. When he started putting this program together, I'm like, okay, I'm glad he's working on something else, because I could never stop Vince when we played in volleyball and everything. He was an absolute beast when he played and everything. Like, so look that up, guys. He was a really, really good volleyball player.
Nice.
Oh no, then you'll see that I am a good volleyball player with the perfect aquanet hair, right?
Happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. Viva. Adios.
Adios. Again, congratulations to Inetnon Get Pago.
Thanks.
Okay, and
Thank
we do
you.
have that hashtag running in our comment stream right now, so everyone, please make sure you use that. Crazy for our culture.
Nice.
I want to see that.
Love it. Take care,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay, and we do have a couple comments right here. Glenn Lujan, of course. Glenn, you know, says the rosary, you know, with different and everything. The wonderful, wonderful guy in the show. Another perpetuator of our culture, saying congratulations for everybody. Patrick Bamba is saying congratulations, Master of Chamorro Dance, Vince and Inetnon Get Pago, on 2 decades of innovation in Chamorro dance and perpetuating our culture. Biba Inetnon Get Pago. Everybody just sending their praise, sending their respect, and sending their gratitude for everything with this wonderful program.
Sorry, that was my microphone. All right. Yep.
All right.
We're good. Thanks a lot, Vince.